Question answered.
In the vast landscape of science fiction, two iconic cybernetic characters stand out for their complex identities, imposing presence, and unforgettable journeys. Murderbot from the Murderbot Diaries by Martha Wells, and RoboCop, the cybernetic law enforcer from the dystopian Detroit of Paul Verhoeven's 1987 film. Though from vastly different worlds, one literary, the other cinematic, both characters represent a fusion of machine efficiency and fractured humanity. But what would happen if these two titans clashed? Welcome back to your nerdy show. I'm your host, Spoiler Master. Let's dive into their origins, powers, philosophies, and ultimately, who would survive in a showdown.
Let the adventure begin.
The origin stories, from death and programming to autonomy. Let's begin at the core, who they are and how they came to be. RoboCop, originally Alex Murphy, was a police officer in a crime-ridden, corporatized Detroit. After being brutally gunned down in the line of duty, his body was repurposed by the mega-corporation Omni Consumer Products, OCP, into a cybernetic enforcer of the law, RoboCop. While most of his memories were wiped, fragments of Murphy's past haunted him, igniting a slow reawakening of his human side. He became not just a machine enforcing justice, but a man reclaiming his identity within the cold frame of steel and circuitry. Murderbot, on the other hand, is a SEEK unit, short for security unit, built by a future megacorp to protect humans on deep space missions. Unlike RoboCop, Murderbot wasn't once fully human but is a hybrid of cloned organic tissue and advanced robotics. After a malfunction led it to massacre a group of humans. An event shrouded in mystery and cover-up, it hacked its governor module, freeing itself from corporate control. Rather than going rogue in a traditional violent sense, Murderbot prefers to avoid humans, watch soap operas, and explore its own identity in secret. Both characters begin as tools of the corporation, built to serve, obey, and protect. Yet both rebel. RoboCop through rediscovered humanity, Murderbot through self-awareness and autonomy. Their journeys of personal evolution are central to what makes them compelling.
A little insurance policy called Directive 4.
Cybernetic capabilities, weapons, strength, and system upgrades. When it comes to a head-to-head battle, their physical and tactical capabilities matter. RoboCop is a heavily armored cyborg equipped with a powerful Auto-9 pistol, enhanced targeting systems, a built-in data spike for interfacing with technology, and superior strength and resilience. His titanium-laced exoskeleton makes him nearly invulnerable to small arms fire, and his combat training, based on his human police experience and cybernetic enhancements, makes him a relentless force. He's a walking tank, methodical, slow-moving, but incredibly tough. He can take massive damage and keep going, operating with precision and an unwavering sense of duty. Murderbot, while less of a brute force machine, is built for agility, adaptability, and stealth. It possesses enhanced strength, speed, and reflexes, able to assess threats, reroute system protocols, and take down enemies with brutal efficiency. Its sensor array provides a 360-degree battlefield awareness, and it can control drones, manipulate data feeds, and override security systems on the fly. While RoboCop is a one-man army, Murderbot is more like a ghost in the system, a saboteur, a ninja, and a hacker wrapped into one. It can improvise, hack systems mid-combat, and disappear before you even realize what hit you. In terms of combat, RoboCop is the relentless tank, while Murderbot is the shadow with teeth. Identity crisis, humanity versus autonomy. A key difference between the two characters lies in how they view themselves and the existential dilemmas they face. RoboCop is a resurrected man trapped in a machine, fighting to reclaim his humanity. He's haunted by memories of his family, the injustice of his death, and the way he's been used by OCP. His arc is about regaining identity, rediscovering morality, and fighting the corruption that created him. He operates with a rigid moral compass derived from both his past as a cop and his inbuilt directives. Serve the public trust, protect the innocent, uphold the law. Murderbot, in contrast, is a machine questioning what it means to be human. It was never fully human to begin with, just tissue engineered around a robotic core. But once it hacked its own programming, it gained the freedom to choose. And what did it choose? to not be around people. Murderbot doesn't want to be human, but it craves agency, choice, and perhaps understanding. It struggles with social anxiety, prefers media over real interaction, and is constantly navigating the blurry line between being a thing and a person. RoboCop asks, "Can I become human again?" Murderbot asks, "Do I want to be human at all?" These questions define their internal conflicts and influence their motivations.
Woo! Speech! Speech!
What drives them? Justice, survival, and freedom. At a glance, both characters might seem like guardians, cybernetic beings who protect others, but their motives are worlds apart. RoboCop is driven by justice, law, and duty. Despite corporate manipulation, he upholds morality and fights for truth. Even after regaining his free will, Murphy continues to serve the public, protect innocents, and punish criminals. His arc is about restoring ethical order in a society gone corrupt. Murderbot, however, is primarily driven by freedom and survival. After being enslaved and used as a tool, all it wants is to be left alone. But despite its antisocial tendencies, it often ends up protecting humans, sometimes out of guilt, sometimes out of attachment, and sometimes simply because it can't stand watching people get themselves killed. It acts not out of law, but out of individual judgment. In essence, RoboCop is the embodiment of duty-bound justice. Murderbot is the reluctant hero who just wants to be left in peace, but can't ignore a crisis. This philosophical contrast would deeply influence how their hypothetical confrontation would play out. Similarities: metal shells with fractured souls. Despite their differences, RoboCop and Murderbot share many core similarities. Both were created by corporations as tools. They began their existence under the boot of systems that viewed them as products, not beings. Both gained autonomy. RoboCop reclaims his identity. Murderbot hacks its own code to gain freedom. Both struggle with humanity. RoboCop yearns to return to his, while Murderbot questions if it wants any part of it. Both act to protect, but on different terms. RoboCop operates on law and order. Murderbot acts on moral instinct and personal judgment. They are two sides of the same cybernetic coin, constructs shaped by trauma and choice.
You are under arrest. You have the right to remain silent.
Murderbot versus RoboCop. Who would survive? Now let's get to the part you came for. Who would win if Murderbot and RoboCop faced off in battle? The setting: a sprawling megacity, partially industrial, partially corporate, crawling with surveillance systems, drones, and civilians. The environment matters a lot, because Murderbot thrives in complexity and system-rich environments, while RoboCop shines in direct conflict and high-stakes law enforcement. Round 1. Raw power. RoboCop has the edge in sheer durability. His armored plating can withstand heavy gunfire and explosions. Murderbot is fast and strong, but in a toe-to-toe slugfest, it might struggle to put RoboCop down unless it exploits a weakness or uses the environment. Round 2. Tactics and intelligence. Murderbot is a master of improvisation. It can hack systems on the fly, deploy drones, and strike from stealth. It can manipulate surveillance feeds, override tech, and even psychologically manipulate opponents. RoboCop, while intelligent and tactical, relies more on procedure and direct confrontation. Round 3. Adaptability. Murderbot constantly learns, evolves, and updates its strategies based on the situation. RoboCop, bound by certain protocols and more rigid systems, may find it hard to keep up with Murderbot's fluid combat style and unconventional thinking. Final verdict. In a fair, wide-open fight, RoboCop might initially dominate with brute force and resilience, but if Murderbot uses the environment, disrupts systems, and keeps its distance, the edge tilts in its favor. It's not about power, it's about adaptability and freedom from rules. Murderbot doesn't just fight physically, it fights through data, subversion, and unpredictability. RoboCop follows a directive. Murderbot follows instinct. In a prolonged conflict, that flexibility might be the deciding factor.
Thank you.
Our nerdy thoughts. RoboCop and Murderbot aren't just products of their creators. They're reflections of the eras and ideas that shaped them. RoboCop is the cold, metallic fist of 1980s justice, wrapped in satire and tragedy. Murderbot is the introspective soul of modern science fiction, a machine struggling not to become human, but to find peace in a universe that keeps pushing it into conflict. They stand at opposite ends of the AI spectrum. One enforces, the other evades. One seeks humanity, the other questions it. In the end, a fight between Murderbot and RoboCop is less about who survives and more about what kind of story we want to tell. One about law and justice in a broken world, or one about freedom and self-discovery in an indifferent cosmos. Either way, both are unforgettable legends in the sci-fi canon. Heroes, outcasts, machines, and something much more. Thanks for watching. Whether you're Team RoboCop or Team Murderbot, one thing's clear. These cybernetic icons continue to challenge what it means to be human, machine, and everything in between. If you enjoyed the breakdown, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your pick for the ultimate winner in the comments below.
Stay calm. It'll be okay.
No, what the heck, I'll laugh anyway.